Hello, welcome to the channel and the third video in the warm-up playlist. You know what to do. If you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button as it really does help out the channel a lot. Right, so we have warmed up the body and the breath, and now we engage properly the vocal cords. We have all suffered from a tired voice, being hoarse and croaky due to overuse or straining. This is why we warm up in the order of body, breath, and then voice. You wouldn't go and sprint in the cold weather without doing a few stretches first. At least I hope you wouldn't. We have done our pre-run stretches in the form of release and breath work. It is now much safer and easier to activate the voice. Let's go for it. So, follow my lead. We will start off with those s, f, and sh sounds that we used in the breath exercises, but now we will voice them, turning them into z, v, and zh sounds. Zh as in the sound in the middle of the word usually. So we'll have a very basic movement with the next exercise whilst we're producing sound. Not only will this help keep the ribs and the chest open, but it will also help distract from the production of sound. It's always very good having something taking you away from an activity that is designed to warm you up. You don't really want to always think of it as something so mechanical. We are actors, we are people. Our job is to tell stories and to interact with people, not do a breath exercise or a vocal exercise perfectly. We want to help warm up our voices and our bodies so we are safe, but that's not why we are going on stage or going on camera. So we're going to take those three sounds, the z, v, and zh, and do one sound 3 times with this arm movement. So follow me, very low volume, but sustained sound production. When you breathe in, just let the breath spring in, not overfilling, not gasping, just, and then on with the exercise. Here we go. Onto the z sound. Then the zh, and bring that to a close. On a day where you're feeling a little more tired than usual, or you feel like your voice needs a bit more of a warm-up, you can go ahead and repeat those sounds a few times. You can do very little damage on those fricative sounds. You are engaging the vocal cords, but you're not opening up the mouth or producing sound which is overtly stressful or full of strain. We will do this arm movement again with a sound production, but on an M sound now, as if you're humming. But when you produce the hum, just chew it a little bit in your mouth, not moving the whole jaw as in, but just chewing the front of your lips whilst you are humming. So bounce in the breath and begin. 2 more of those. On the third one, just take away the chew a little bit, so it is just the hum. So same deal, if you're having a day where you feel you need to do that exercise a few more times, absolutely go ahead and do it. 3 is a good marker for a minimum. but there is no rule to how many times you may do an exercise. It's up to you, and again, whatever works for you is what is best. So now we're going to take that sound and develop it into an oo sound. So basically you're going to be saying moo 3 times. But as you get halfway through that oo sound, let it change into an ah sound, like this. Moo, ah. As you get to the tail end of your ah sound, imagine that it's turning into a yawn. That idea of everything opening up, and it will sound a little strange, but the idea is in a yawn, it's very hard to hurt yourself or damage yourself. So we want to get this idea of openness in the throat. So something like this. And we'll do that 3 times with the arm movement. Spring in the breath. 2 more times. When we are producing sound, we want as much space without stretching or looking odd in your mouth. Your mouth is really the bell at the end of a saxophone or a trumpet. It's where the sound is amplified. So the more space you have naturally in your mouth, the easier the sound will come out. How can we help this? We want to release it a little bit through gentle massaging. The same rule here. You're not really digging into the muscle. It's just gentle strokes, gentle massaging to help open the mouth a bit more. Once you have done this a few times, 2 knuckles, and place in your mouth and just let that jaw sit open with that gap. If you can then include a 3-finger gap, and go ahead and do that. We'll do that for about 10 seconds. Let the fingers just come out and feel the space in the back of your mouth. Don't clench it again. Once you've done the release work, imagine it remaining loose and open. Let's retry that moo-ah sound now with less of the yawn sensation, because that's not the sound we produce when we are talking. Let's aim for a little bit more of a natural sound now. So we can let the arm movements go. Just find a position that is comfortable for you. Let the breath spring in and begin the hum into the oo and then into the ah, keeping that sensation of the space now in the mouth. You saw I just moved my head a little bit. You want to just keep everything nice and loose. Because you have done such a good job with your body warm-up and your breath warm-up, you're not suddenly locking up now just because you're moving into vocal production. So let's do that sound 2 more times. As you can see, we work in 3s with warm-ups. It's just a good way to repeat exercises and for you to get a sensation of what your body is doing. We will keep this going for a little bit longer just to help warm up those vocal cords. Remember the space in the back of the mouth and letting the breath spring in. Never gasp for the air. You just let it drop into you. So one more time. Full of ease, no strain, and not lots of effort forcing out sound. You're just letting the sound come out. Now we want to take this idea of humming into different pitches, because when we talk, we are not talking constantly on one single note. We're full of expression and we're full of range. It comes naturally when we're talking to people, our friends, our parents, loved ones. But sometimes when we move into the world of acting, especially when you're starting out, it's very easy to become quite monotonous. So we want to warm up the voice in different pitches, because that way when you come to vehemently expressing something on stage or on screen or in your audition, you're not worrying about, I don't think my voice can do this. So we're just going to place that hum into different areas of the body. So start with it very quietly and imagining that you can feel the buzz of the travelling to the top of your head. It's a very quiet noise. And maybe let that hum warble a little bit, as if you're producing vibrato if you're a singer, or just alternating between two very close notes. So like this. Let that travel into your nose. Into your throat. Into your chest. Into your belly. Now into your legs. Obviously the sound isn't being produced in your legs, but just let your imagination transfer the sound to your legs. And then all the way down into the heels of your feet. Again, we know that sound isn't being produced in your feet, but it's just a good image to help you transfer the sound throughout your whole body. Then, with another hum, let that travel all the way up to the top of your head again from the heels of your feet in a very smooth way. It's a very odd sound, but it just helps get that pitch travelling throughout your body. So when you come to being quite emphatic in your speech, you're not worrying about, I don't know if I can get to that level of pitch or that level of intensity with my voice. You want to do a little trial run with your warm-ups before going out into an audition or on stage. Now we have travelled through the individual areas of the body. Try now to blend all of them together from feet, legs, belly, chest, throat, nose and head. Produce a hum, sound, imagining the sound coming from every area that you have just explored in your body. Let the breath spring in and let out that hum. Just feel it coming from those areas, all of them at the same time. Let your body be loose whilst you're making this sound. Chew it if you want to bring the sound forward in your face. maybe produce a little yawning sensation in your throat. And bring that to a close. Finally, we'll just do 3 more of the moo-ahs, but with less of that yawning sound, less of the chewing motion, just using the work you have done. You have activated your voice in your entire body, you have created space, and you have used the vocal cords to get them moving, so they are now warm. But you want to produce a sound which is a little more natural. So place that moo-ah sound in a pitch which is very close to your natural speaking voice, so for me around this level, and at a volume which is around your natural speaking volume. Take away the yawn, take away the chewing motion, and produce that sound as naturally as you see fit, or as naturally as you can. Then take it up 1 more notch in pitch. And then somewhere in between the two. Really, you have now done enough work to consider your voice warm. It is then up to you to how much longer you want to do exercises like this. You may wake up some mornings and realize your voice needs a lot of work. If it does require a lot of work to get it moving, keep the noises small and almost private in order not to hurt yourself. Producing sound with your vocal cords in this way is a great way to get it activated without harming yourself. Once you have done this work, just bring it to a close with a couple of vocal creaks. You're not exactly warming your body down again, but because you have used your voice quite intensely over the last few minutes, you just want to shake it out a bit. The same way we shake out our arms after doing a body release. You just want to shake out your voice a little bit. So not too many, only 1 or 2 of these vocal creaks. One more. And then end with one of our favourites, a spine roll. All the way down and then all the way up, really enjoying that sense of release as you drop down. Three little sighs. Bend the knees, drop the backside, and rise up. And feel yourself as just a normal body in a normal space. That concludes the vocal warm-up. I will do one more video on basic articulation warm-ups, getting the lips and the jaw moving for better clarity and articulation. Let's have a quick debrief. You are now basically warm. You have warmed the body, the breath, and now the voice. You now need to put your attention on your action and your activities in your speeches. This warm-up work really should be repeated every day. Use any of the exercises you have seen here to form your own 20-minute routine. As I said, 20 minutes a day will yield the best results. As long as you remember, start with the body, then the breath, and then the voice, vocal production. Once warm, stay warm. Keep wrapped up or constantly moving and making sure nothing really locks up. You can do your own little private to yourself. Keep that neck of yours nice and loose. Little figures of 8 every now and then. Nods and rotates. You will know what your body needs and what your voice needs. Never force exercises or sounds. Some days your voice just will not want to play ball. The important thing is not to force it. If it takes an hour to then get yourself warm, it takes an hour. That's why it's important to plan ahead, especially when you have scheduled auditions. But remember, when in doubt, play your action. You rarely hear a baby losing their voice when they're screaming or crying relentlessly. They are simply playing their own little action to get their parents' attention. Remember, in everyday life, we aren't thinking about our mechanics and our vocal production and how our bodies are. We are putting our attention on someone else. We are wanting something and we get that something. It's the same deal with warm-ups. Do the work and then forget them and play your action. Keep up the exercises, have fun. It's a play, darling. My name is Kai, but you can call me Caius.